What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome to a short little just playoff kind of discussion video. This is going to be very chill, very lax. Don't feel like there's going to be incredibly, I don't know, something incredible on screen that you're going to miss. If you want, you can just kind of chill, grab a snack, listen in as I talk about the season as a whole up until this point, talk about our playoff prospects, and yeah, just chat about Pokemon, just chat about the team a little bit, just chat about how I'm feeling and all that stuff. It shouldn't take too long, but yeah, let's hop into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is the season as a whole. How has it gone? What were my expectations, etc.? Honestly, it's gone a bit differently than what I anticipated. What I anticipated was a lot stallier teams, a lot bulkier, but I feel like a lot of matchups, well, not a lot, but more than I anticipated, have forced me to play a bit more of an offensive role. You'll see, I mean, the stats aren't up to date because, you know, Thundurus T and Garchomp have gotten quite a few more kills, but Garchomp and Thundurus T have, as anticipated, played very huge offensive roles, but I've had to play a bit more aggressively with them than I anticipated earlier on in the season. I figured I'd be setting up a lot more hazards with Garbodor, spinning them away potentially with Armaldo, and building stallier cores with Gligar, you know, Spadef Wall and Florges, maybe even Tangrowth a bit more. But my teams have really revolved a lot around Mega Scizor, Garchomp, Thundurus T for offense, and decently, you know, bringing that offense quite a bit. And Suicune. Suicune is still, you know, an all-star on my team. I used it a lot more than I even anticipated. You know, people coming into this season were expecting Suicune, definitely fearing Suicune. And what's really fun is, you know, I've been able to bring a lot of, well, not a lot of, but some new sets that have thrown people for a loop, and some old ones that have, you know, still not been solved per se. And here and there I sprinkle in, you know, a little bit of Gligar, a little Scrafty, little Garbodor, little Articuno, little Trapinch, little Armaldo, never Glaceon, sadly. But Bronzong has been a real surprise this season. Bronzong has been incredibly helpful. I've really enjoyed having two steel types. That's something I can say for sure. Having those Dragon resist, having Fighting resist, having, well, I mean, they're not really Fighting resists. They're neutral because of their dual typings. But having just such a great defensive typing and even a decent offensive typing, where you have Mega Scizor, very offensive but also still bulky steel type, and then the super defensive Bronzong, which is also really reliable hazard setter. I feel like those mons, you know, Scizor, Garchomp, Thundurus T, Suicune, and Bronzong have been my real bread and butter this season, with Tangrowth probably as a close second, or as like the next tier below that. And so I've been playing a little bit more offensively, having to play a little bit more aggressively at times. I don't know if you guys remember my match against Sam, but switching in on potential HP Ices and stuff, having to predict, you know, doubles a little bit. That recent match against Aggron, which was a total monster, having to go for that agility. I've been forced to play a little bit more aggressively than I anticipated, and probably a little bit more than I liked, but overall, I've really enjoyed how I've been able to play this particular season. Having my defensive cores, where I am very weak to Beam Blast coverage, as Sam puts it, you know, Fire Blast and Ice Beam, or Flamethrower and Ice Beam. Fire and Ice coverage puts in a ton of work on my team in particular, so that's something I've overlooked early on, but in general, between Tangrowth, Suicune, Gligar, Bronzong, I'm able to build pretty defensive cores that are able to switch in, chip away at things, heal up decently well, set up hazards, set up status, you know, chip away at things so that my other mons like Thundurus T, Garchomp, and potentially even Mega Scizor can plow through the team. That's really been the mentality from the very beginning, and I feel like almost every single match has been exactly that, where I bring, you know, one, maybe two Scarf mons, one, maybe two setup mons, and I identify which one is the correct win condition and play accordingly. I only switch in the mons that I can afford to take hits with, and that I can use to get little bits of chip damage so that certain mons can sweep, certain mons can just win. And it hasn't always been easy, but it's always gone more or less according to plan. And one thing that's been really cool about this particular team is I feel like it doesn't have a great matchup against any one particular team. Every single week I look at my opponent's teams and I always see threats. There's always something that can potentially even sweep my entire team. There's always some mon that gives me a lot of difficulty, but for that reason, I feel like every single week I have to come up with a plan, I have to team build, I have to play on point to win, and the wins are more often than not due to my skill. It's all on my shoulders. Yet at the same time, it's not like I'm completely blown away, right? I don't feel like I have a ridiculous advantage, and it's not like I'm trying to not have an advantage, but rather I'm trying to have a team that isn't super advantageous against any one other team, because likely if you are super advantageous against one particular team, you're also going to be weak, incredibly weak to particular teams. So while I don't feel like I have a great advantage over certain teams, I also don't feel like I have weaknesses to a lot of teams, and that puts me in a really nice balanced zone where it's really up to me. I can win every single match, I can win against every single team I play against, but I can also lose against every single team I play against. And honestly, I think that's how it should be, and I like that pressure, and I like that it's up to me. And in a game like Pokemon, where there is a lot of hacks and there's a lot of luck involved, I feel like it's important to try to take onto your own shoulders as much as you can for consistency's sake. So those are my thoughts there. Speaking of which, internet. Yeah, speaking of which, my team in general has been really consistent. I feel like I have a pretty solid battle strategy going into every single battle that fits my general archetype, and despite even being known by some of the people I'm playing up against, despite even being, having all 6 of my team members predicted, I can still play around it just because of how solid that core is. I've really enjoyed having a little bit of a regenerator core, some really defensive mons with leftovers, the ability to heal up a little bit, some nice immunities in Thunderous T, Garchomp, etc., and some good pivoting with Megazord primarily, but then probably Thunderous T as a second with that Volt Switch. I feel like my lower tier mons haven't put in as much work, but they have been incredibly helpful in the situations that they did show up. That Armaldo was a monster the one game it showed up. Garbodor with Toxic Spikes and Spikes, absolutely love using that Pokemon. Trapinch, when it is there, when it does trap mons, it's great. When it has a Magnezone or Magneton to trap, it's going to put in a lot of work, and it really helps out the rest of the team. So I feel like my team synergy has actually been really good this particular season. I do feel like I should have drafted a couple more fast powerhouses. I feel like I am relying very heavily on Garchomp and Thunderous T for offensive pressure, and I could go for maybe one more Glass Cannon from a lower tier rather than something like Articuno or maybe even Glaceon. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on the season as a whole. We obviously lost our first match to Manu, and hopefully we get our rematch. That said, I don't know, he's not in the best mood for or mindset for battling, so even if we do get our rematch, I'm not 100% sure how that is going to go, or how that's going to play out, or how indicative that'll be of our relative skill levels. But that said, we won every other match. It wasn't always easy. There were some great matches. I really enjoy playing Max and Sam. I always enjoy playing Max and Sam, and there have been some surprising matches that were really fun too. But overall, this season is a bit of a roller coaster. I remember the first time I joined the NCPL, I was a newcomer, I wasn't known very well, and I just started winning, and I kept winning, and I was upsetting people, and people were on the lookout for me. I was the anime villain. It was really fun, it kept me going. But from the very beginning of this season, I've been at the top, and I've had a lot of people gunning at me. I don't know if you guys have been watching Boku no Hero Academia, but there's this moment where the anime, I'm not going to spoil anything because it's wonderful, and if you haven't seen it, you should watch it, where the anime stresses the pressure of being number one, having everyone come after you, having even your friends turn against you just to challenge you to prove themselves. And I really feel like from the very beginning of this season, I have been enduring that, and I had been enduring that towards the end of the second season and even during the SFL, but very much in this particular season. And with each win, that pressure builds up, and now as the playoffs approach, it's do or die. It's one slip up, any one slip up. Even if I'm so consistent that I win 98% of matches, if one of those playoff matches is the 2% that I lose, it's the end of the season, and that would be incredibly disappointing. That said, I feel like, and I'm not trying to say this to make it sound like I'm content with where I am right now, but I feel like given that I beat every other team in the NCPL except for Manu, whether or not I win the league, I've made an incredible statement about my ability to battle other people in this league, and I do want to go on to win it. I, in particular, would like to play Manu for that kind of poetic, poetic ending. That said, I don't know if that's going to happen. I had to buy in the first round, and the first round is still going on. People's summer schedules are really difficult to mesh together, so it might not be as consistent as it has been in the past, where every single week there's been a match. I know that Sam and Noah have battled, and there's one other playoff battle to be had, and then I play the lower seed of the winners of those 2 particular matches, and if I win that, I'll be making it to the championship against the winner of the other playoff match, of course. So there are only potentially 2 more matches left in the season. I don't know who I'm going to be playing next. I'm not even particularly worrying about it just yet until I know who I'm going to be playing, and then I'll start scouting. Then I'll kind of get back into it. I'm feeling a lot better overall. Since being in Japan, I've had a lot of fun, but I've also been super stressed and super burnt out at the same time. Just whether you're in class, whether you're out of class doing homework, whether you don't have homework and you're trying to hang out with friends or want to hang out with friends, and when you're not hanging out with friends, or even when you are hanging out with friends, trying to explore Japan and experience everything you can with the free time you do have. And then outside of that, trying to get things done, like stuff for a part-time job or setting up for med school next year. It's been incredibly busy, it's been incredibly fun, but it has been very busy. And like I mentioned, roller coaster of a season from like a motivation standpoint. A lot of other people dropped out with motivation and such, and it made battling less fun. When you're not battling other motivated people, it becomes less fun for yourself, right? And that definitely happened to me. I am on the upward trend. I feel like since Lizzie's been here, it's been a lot more fun. She's been able to help recharge me a bit more, and I've brought back my battle spirit a little bit. The past couple battles have been pretty fun, pretty challenging, and I'm really looking forward to getting back into team building and really, running through all the calcs, really fine-tuning the EVs and stuff to win, because I definitely want to win. What do I think is going to be my path for the, towards the championship? I feel like it will be going up against Sam and then potentially Manu. Yeah, probably Manu. That's what I'm looking at. Is that an easy path? No, it is not. Is that the path I want? Honestly, yes. Honestly, I feel like it would be the most fun for me to play Sam and then Manu, 2 of, in my opinion, the best battlers in the league, records aside. And I think it would be a lot of fun to watch too, as they are some of the best battlers, they have some of the best teams, and I feel like in particular battling Sam is always a blast just because of how fired up we both get for the match. So that's something to look forward to. And I think that's really all there is to say. Again, I'm not exactly sure when the videos will come out because of people's schedules. Look out for the team builders when they do happen. I'll probably make an announcement on Twitter or something like that, or on my Discord, so be sure to check those out so that you can keep up to date on when I will start team building, when you can look forward to the team builder and the battles themselves. And if you guys are excited, if you guys are pumped for the playoffs, if you guys are excited for the Chicago Muse to potentially take the championship, hopefully, first, of course, is the playoffs, but hopefully we can win it all. So I hope you guys are pumped and hope you guys will be there to support me because, as always, it is definitely appreciated. I really appreciate all the support over the past few weeks where it's definitely been a bit of a slump from my Pokemon motivation, standpoint. So thank you guys a ton. You guys are incredible fans, and I'm looking forward to hopefully putting some smiles on your faces as we win and hopefully take it all. But until then, it's Movie Night Zero, and this mission is complete.